I don't know about you guys, but after I became a mom, it was so much harder to eat right, to exercise, and to find time just to take care of myself. And then when you add in working long hours, long weeks, every week as a working mom, it's just that much harder. And so this year, I've really taken some time to really focus on my diet, exercising, finding time to do all of these things that are important. I'm not perfect at it, but I thought it was time to share some of my tips with you guys. If you are working moms who are just having a really hard time having a positive body image, fitting back into those clothes post-baby, and just feeling kind of down about it. Hey guys, Sarah here from Work Life Glue, where we talk all about balancing work and life and being parents and time management, goal crushing, as well as daycare on Fridays, because that is something that I do full-time as my job as a daycare provider in my home. And so even though I don't work outside of the home, I still work 10 hours a day and don't have time to exercise during those 10 hours. And so I just thought I would share what I have learned as a working mom, because there's not a lot of working moms here on YouTube. And I just find it really hard sometimes to relate with stay-at-home moms in this kind of topic where they do have a more flexible schedule. So I just thought I would share what works for me. This can also be used for stay-at-home moms or anyone at all. You don't even have to be a mom. But I just know as a working mom with lots of demands and lots of things to fit in those nights and those weekends and those early mornings, it can be really, really hard. And so I thought I would share my tips for staying healthy and getting back in shape from a working mom's perspective. So when it comes to being healthy, I would say, and I think most people who are knowledgeable in this area would agree, that diet is the number one important thing. So many people will say you can't out-exercise a bad diet. Now you can, but you'd have to exercise a really long time. And we're talking about working moms here, and we don't have a lot of extra time. I think the very first place to start, unfortunately for a lot of us, is our meals. It can be really hard to already meal plan good meals that our kids will eat, that we like, and we're often on a really tight schedule going from activities, and even if our kids aren't in activities, just baths and dinner and connecting with our kids at the end of the night before bedtime. That's a lot of stuff to have to do on top of thinking about healthy foods. But if you want to lose weight, or if you want to maintain your weight, you really have to focus on what you're eating. And so for me, I found that it's really helpful to find an eating plan that works well for me. I don't like to count tons and tons of calories and spend all day logging meals. I have done that and it does work okay, and maybe that would work great for you. But what I'm doing right now is the keto diet. I know it's making its rounds on the internet, but it's really simple for me because it gives me a guideline of what I can't eat and what I can. And I just find that so much easier than having to sit and think about calories at each meal. Obviously, I'm trying not to eat tons of calories, but just being on the keto diet, I'm already eating less because fat really fills you up more than carbs do. And I cut out carbs, which is where most of my calories were coming from anyway. So it does take a bit of time for this particular diet to get into the swing of it, especially if you have kids and a busy lifestyle. You do have to do some planning, which I'll talk about next, but it's really nice to just to have a yes or no guideline of stuff I can eat. Yes, I can eat that. No, I can't. Fruit, no. Carbs, no. Protein, yes. Fat, yes. Like, it's just really easy for me as a busy working mom just to have a guideline, because I'm already thinking about so many things. I don't really have to think about that. It's very clear cut. My second tip is to plan your meals. So if you are trying to be healthy, I just think it's so important to plan your meals, or at least, at the very least, to have only healthy options in your house if that's possible. But either way, it's really helpful to plan your meals out. I plan my meals for the whole month. I plan my breakfasts, my lunches, my suppers, and I also am planning them for the daycare, so it's just easy for me to just sit down and do that. We also use a meal planning service called 5 Dinners 1 Hour, which I've talked a lot about on this channel, but it's been just a life changer for us, and it just really helps us plan for the whole month so that we know what to expect. We know what ingredients to buy. We're not impulse buying crappy things that we don't want in our house, and we know exactly what's for dinner, so we're not like tempted to run out and go get McDonald's or throw in a frozen pizza. It just really helps with those cravings and making sure you're not giving into them. Going along with that, my third tip is to meal prep. This will save you so much time, and it will really be the final like cherry on top to not doing those impulse binge eating sessions or just crappy food eating sessions because you'll already have your meals ready. So along with the 5 dinners 1 hour, we prep for those meals on Sundays during nap time for my kids when they're sleeping. We prep our suppers for the week. I make my egg muffins in the morning for the morning and have those ready so I can just pop those in the microwave, so I'm not tempted to just eat a bagel, because seriously, what breakfast foods are convenient that are low carb? There's like none. They're all full of carbs. So in order to have something available, I need to prep it. And then I always have my lunches pre-thought of and ready to go. I have my produce for my salads. I usually do like a meatball salad, and they're just frozen meatballs, and it's just really, really simple. And so just having that already ready in the fridge, I can't back out of it. It's already there. I would feel guilty wasting it. So it's just so much better to take that time to meal prep on the weekends. My 4th tip, and this is something I think is so helpful, is to have some kind of journal to keep track of your workouts and your food. I actually was given this one by Habit Nest. I love their morning routine one as well, and I knew this one would help me with my weight loss journey and my journey toward healthier living, and I just love it. I love books like this anyway, but what I really love about it is it has a whole process. The beginning starts out just talking about you know, what it means to be healthy. You know, what are carbs, what are proteins, what are fats, what do they do for the body? It's just giving you a lot of knowledge. And then it breaks it up into 3 different phases. So there's phase 1, Hell Week, where you're getting into your new diet and exercise program. There's phase 2, where you're learning to stay consistent. And then there's phase 3, where you're rewiring your brain and really making this a habit. The whole goal of this journal is to make these things a habit. And I just love the science behind it. I love how much attention to detail they have. And I just highly would recommend this. So if I jump ahead, just to give you guys an example, in each phase there's different layouts for the pages, but the main thing for all of them, there's a calorie goal, there's a water drinking goal, there's an exercise goal, and there's little check boxes to see if you actually met your goal. And then you plan out your meals for the day, and then you can log if you actually ate those meals, and then how many calories you ate, any snacks, and then there's always something different on the bottom. So sometimes it says potential food obstacles to look out for tomorrow. One way I can improve by 1% tomorrow is, and then there's like, how did my eating choices impact my day? So just different things that you're journaling, or benefits I felt today, and you can circle. Now what I really love about this one, same with all of their journals, so it's the same for the morning one, but they're different things they're writing about because it's different topics. Every day there's a different like information page, inspiration page, quotes, like there might be one about affirmations, there's tips for different things about different foods or different exercise programs, there's podcast recommendations, there's success stories of people how they've lost weight and things like that, inspirational quotes. It's just so motivating, and it makes you want to open this up because you want to know what's coming up that day. And so I just really love this. There's a lot of science and research that went into these of how to make it a habit. It's called Habit Nest is the brand, and I just love it because it's encouraging you to make it a habit and giving you the tool to do that. So I'd highly recommend having something. I think this is an awesome resource, and I will link it below for you guys, but having somewhere to write down your progress so that when you work out, you can write it down and celebrate. Or if you had 8 cups of water today, you have a place to write it down. It's just those little wins and celebrating them in a small way by writing them down that will help you move forward and have progress. So when it comes to working out, this is absolutely by far the hardest thing for me to figure out how to fit in. And I consider myself like a pretty good person at time management. I can like reverse engineer my days. I can figure out how to be the most productive to fit everything in. But when it comes to working out, this is what I have a lot of trouble with, because in the mornings, I already am trying to be really quiet so my girls don't wake up, and somehow they always can sense the second I get out of bed. I don't know what it is, but that's my time to work on my YouTube channel, my online businesses, and to do my miracle morning. And I don't have a lot of time to do exercise on top of that because my kids already are getting up between 5 and 6. So, and my daycare opens at 7. So I don't really have a lot of time to work out then. I don't have any time to work out during the daycare day. And then come 5 o'clock, it's supper, baths, dance class, all that kind of stuff. So it's really hard to fit it in then. And then by the time my girls go to bed, I'm so exhausted that it's really hard to get myself to work out. I know you guys can relate. Let me know if you can in the comments, but it's just so hard to fit it in. In college, I was working out an hour every day. I prioritized it. I looked amazing. I felt amazing. But I had a way different life then than I do now with 2 little kids, a marriage, businesses, a full-time job. It's just a lot harder. So what I'm committed myself to lately and moving forward, and hopefully you guys will do this with me if you're having trouble finding out a way to work out or when to work out, is to just commit to 15 minutes a day. Now I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but isn't 15 way bigger than 0? And I have been doing 0 for so long, and I am the kind of person, and maybe you guys can relate, where I have like this all or nothing mentality. If I can't do a 45-minute workout, then I'm just not going to work out at all. And I really need to change my perspective on that, because I was talking to my mom over Thanksgiving and she said 15 minutes added up over time is a lot. And so you will be amazed at how much progress you can have with just 15 minutes a day. And really my goal with the 15 minutes is to turn it into half an hour, but you got to start somewhere. And if I can start doing 15 minutes consistently, it's going to give me those endorphins. I'm going to love how I feel, and eventually the goal is to go longer. But for now, I can just stick to 15 minutes. Now in the summertime, the nicer weather, I do like to take my girls for walks and jogs in the stroller. Outside, I just love getting out and, you know, talking to them or listening to something, a podcast, while they just like wind down from the day and I wind down, and then we start our night after that. But in the winter here in Minnesota, it's just not an option. So there are all kinds of YouTube videos with free 15-minute workouts that I'm taking advantage of right now, and I would highly encourage you guys to as well. But you could even do things like the treadmill, or just 15 minutes of jumping jacks and stuff with your kids, or running outside, or going for a walk. Just any of those things for 15 minutes. I think all of us can fit in somewhere to our day. It's just a matter of making sure we actually do it. And piggybacking off of that, I think it's really important to plan out your workouts, because especially if it's not a habit yet, if you don't plan it, you're gonna forget, or you may trick yourself into forgetting because you don't want to do it. But if you actually write it down as something you have to do and schedule those 15 minutes into your day, you're way more likely to do them. Even if it's on the treadmill during your favorite show. I like to multitask, and I don't feel so bad about working out if I get to watch something during or listen to something during. So that may be another way to get yourself to do it. And my last tip above all else is to just give yourself grace. And I'm totally speaking to myself through this too. It is so hard, and I talk to my husband a lot about this because it's so hard. Your body image, before babies you look a certain way, and then after babies some of us don't look a different way, and if you don't, that's great, but a lot of us do. Even if I hadn't gained any weight, my skin is looser, I have different proportions than I used to have, my old clothes just don't fit the same, and it's just really hard. And I think we just have to give ourselves grace, especially because our lives are so much different after kids. We all know that as parents. What we thought life would be like after kids compared to what it actually is like is so different. I remember thinking, I'm gonna be one of those moms who stays in shape and is working out all the time. Well, in my current state, I have to sacrifice family time in a lot of cases to get that done. And I don't know, it's weighing the pros and cons of what's worth it, and those are things you don't really think about before you have kids. So just give yourself grace, try your best, and then just let go of the rest. We won't always have little kids, we won't always have the exact same life we have right now, especially if we are setting goals and trying to achieve them. So just give yourself grace in this season and know that progress is better than perfection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know some of your tips for staying healthy as a busy working mom, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.